Well, I'm Marcella. I've been chairing the committee for a while now and have recently resigned, as you may have gathered. Um, but I'm still on the committee, and we've been, the essence of what we do is to develop and maintain trails and um, help with scout projects and just general trail work is our main goal, but we do make some decisions regarding, um, what goes where and where our expenditures need to be, and you know, um, that sort of thing. But if Jack, if you are interested in hanging out outdoors and doing trail work and construction projects, this is your committee. So anyhow, that's what I've been doing for the last, I don't know how many years. And it's, hopefully it'll be another million years.
Great. Yeah. My name is Jack. Obviously, I'm the new guy. But yeah, I moved to Upton last year. Always been really interested in the outdoors. I grew up in Middleborough. My family has cranberry bogs, and just everybody grew up really tight knit with, like my cousins and everywhere. And we had lots of land to kind of roam around and get used to, and just that's kind of been my background for a long time. And then I saw the opening come up, and I'm also part of NEMBA, which is like New England Mountain Bike Association, and they had mentioned that that you guys were looking for somebody. So I was like, oh, this seems like a good opportunity for me. I'm actually always down the street riding on the Puddin Hill trails there, across from Nipmuc and Blackstone. But yeah, it's I'm just like learning all the trails around here and having a good time, and figure maybe I can offer some help while I have some free time. I got a kid and want to kind of pass that on to her, so hoping that is a
Excellent.
good trend.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as a member of NEMBA, we've been working pretty closely with them to develop a few trails, and there's one in the works at the Warren Brook parcel.
Oh, cool.
So hopefully you'll be able to help out with that. And I haven't heard back from Toby Teller, who's been, I don't know if you know him through NEMBA. Um, and Laura Zimmer is another person we've been working with. So um, the two of them have been really, really helpful as far as developing trails that are more suited to cycling. We had nobody on the committee had been a cyclist, and I think we really got a lot of valuable information by having somebody in that user group participate.
Nice. Well, I will say I'm not like a secret agent or anything. I don't know a ton of the people in the NEMBA organization. I joined them very recently too. It's just how I like to exercise. So I ended up hearing about it from them. But I will say I'm an Upton resident first. So definitely we'll try to, if things are decision has to be made, we'll make that call then. But I just wanted to preface with that I'm not like coming into railroad ideas for like, hey, the bikes have to get out here, and but definitely just to preface with that. But it's definitely, I have a lot of interests outdoors too, so I definitely want to make sure everyone is accounted for.
Scott?
Yep, I'm Scott Heim. I've been on the land stewardship for quite a few years as well. I like to work on the trails, especially, and take care of invasive species. It's one of my pet peeves is having those out there. So I'm doing that quite a bit this year. But yeah, looking forward to having some new members though. So welcome aboard.
Nice.
And Eric?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having some technical issues tonight. Couldn't get my camera on, so glad the mic's working at least. Yeah, I moved to Upton, I think in 2018, and joined the Land Stewardship Committee not too long afterwards. And sounds kind of like you. I love being outside, love being on the trails, and joined the committee just because it's a great part about living in Upton is having access to the open space here in town, and it's nice to contribute to that and help to make improvements to it and be involved. Yeah.
Right. Scott, did you email Mike?
I did email him. I haven't heard back. I assumed he would join if he had saw my email.
Yeah,
So.
let me give him a phone call. Or Bill, would you mind giving him a call? Thanks. In any case, the one thing that's in addition to Jack's introduction, and as far as your participating with the group, I don't, unless anybody has some major objections, I'd encourage you to go through the process. I don't know if you have already, and try. There's an online form to fill out, and the select board. You have to express interest.
Oh, okay.
And then you have to. Then the select board appoints you. And at that point, you'll be able to make decisions with the group. Right now, you're welcome to join the meetings and have some input, but you wouldn't be able to vote until you're sworn in. So
Makes
the
sense.
select board will vote to, approve you to the committee, and then you'll need to just get sworn in with the town clerk. So
Okay.
that's the process, and hopefully that'll go smoothly. But
Mike will be joining shortly.
Okay, did he just forget? Or
I think so.
okay. One thing that came up today, as a matter of fact, is that SVT's been doing some work on the Schoolhouse 9 conservation area, and they're ready for us to do some trail marking. So we'll need to put something on the calendar and get a date where we can go along the new trails and put medallions up, as well as any other signage. We haven't really had any issues with campfires or people. We have signs that deter people from that. I also I don't know if that area we haven't really seen much in the way of motorized vehicle use, although the power lines do cut through it. So we might do well to put signs up that say that, once you're off the power lines, no motorized vehicles. But I don't know if you all want to look at your calendars, and we can put that on the calendar and see what I don't think it'll take too long, and I don't think it necessarily take a whole bunch of us. The more that are out there, probably the faster it'll go. And not only that, but we could stand to just take a walk around Stephens and refresh the markers there, and also the trail that it connects to the new property. So there's sections if one or two people take a section, we should be able to get through that pretty quickly. So you don't know, I'm pretty flexible right now. The weather's kind of dictates a lot of what we're going to be doing. If it's too cold or too sloppy like today, we might just make sure that we pick a bad weather date. So I have pretty much most of the month, and I don't know, where people are around the holidays. So maybe if we could do something before The holidays, say the 21st, the first day of winter, that would be appropriate. Get out there in the cold. Or the 22nd, that weekend, or the 14th, 15th weekend. And again, we're not locked into weekends. I know some of us are more flexible with that. So, do either of those weekends look good for folks?
Yeah, I'm pretty open, so maybe a Sunday might be better just for deer season right now.
Oh, right. I completely forgot. Yep. So I guess we'd be looking at the 15th or the 22nd. The 29th is also an option, but that's sort of like the week between Christmas and New Year's. I don't know. People have plans, but that yeah, I don't. So if the 29th works better for folks, that's okay too. I would suggest maybe we put the 15th on the calendar, and if the weather's bad, we'll have 2 more Sundays to play with. If that seems like a good idea.
Works for me.
Okay.
Yep, sounds
And,
good to me. Yep.
All right, and Mary, I know Sundays are harder for you, but we could, I don't know if scheduling it at a particular time of day or, yeah, if I probably wouldn't be able to get out there till about 11 o'clock myself, so anytime after 11 would be great.
Yeah, I think for both of those Sundays it's pretty hard. But I could, yeah, so don't plan around me.
Okay, all right. So anyways, 11 a.m. on the 15th, a good place to start?
Sure. And do we have a place where you want to meet, or?
We could meet in the brand new spiffy parking area off of North Street. I don't know if you've driven by there, but well, let me think that through, because if there's snow, made arrangements to plow it, and I don't know what we're going to be doing around plowing it. I also worry that plowing it is going to disturb the surface and maybe compromise the way it connects to the street. So I would say let's meet there if weather permits, and if not, we would just meet at the community garden, and we could walk in from there, which is kind of on the way.
So it the new parking lot is on North Street.
Yeah. Do you?
Isn't it Mechanic Street?
Yes,
Marla?
Mechanic Street, isn't it?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I got my streets mixed up. Thank you, Scott. Yes, it's Mechanic Street. And that's, I don't know, you know where it is, or
I know where that is. Yeah.
okay. All right. For those of you who may not, when I tell people about parking in that area, I usually say it's like around 100 Mechanic Street, even though there isn't a 100 Mechanic Street. That's kind of where it would be if we had one. I don't know what the Knott's address, that we have some very nice neighbors next to the parking lot, and I can find out what the street number with them is. So anyway, I'll send out a reminder and make sure that everybody has the information and that we can
The Knott's are 80 Mechanic.
80?
Yep.
So if you go to 80 Mechanic, then it's right next door to their property, heading south. So, anyway, that's good. I'm sure we could stand to do some more trail days, but I'll let somebody else, take that on and take the lead on that. I do know that there are few more blowdowns at Warren Brook, and there's some blowdowns at Stephens. So I don't know, you know, Bill has a chainsaw now too. So we have a bunch of chainsaw. And I don't know, Jack, if you use a chainsaw, we wouldn't want you to do that until you're an actual committee member, because then if you cut your leg off, the town's not liable. But,
Of course.
but anyhow, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with chainsaws. It sounds like you have, you know, experience working outdoors with that kind of stuff. So
Yep.
if you're
Yeah, I've got
comfortable.
I could handle some of that stuff.
Okay. So on how much time we have on the 15th, we could, you know, maybe take care of some of the blowdowns at Stephens, and talk. I don't know if somebody else wants to take a look at some of the other um, parcels. I haven't heard anything from anybody about blowdowns elsewhere, but I'm sure they're there. So, you know, Scott, I know you've gone out there on your own to take care of stuff. I know Toby's helped out with that stuff as well, and, you know, signed his liability waiver and went out. And Eric, you know, you have a chainsaw as well, Mike. You're all welcome to go out there any old time you want, if you know, on your own. Would just insist that you bring somebody to spot you, or and to help. So if you can't find somebody, you can always reach out to me if I'm available. I could do that, or if any of you want to pair up somehow. But I'll leave that to you.
Yeah,
So,
Marcel, I could just add about the chainsaw safety. 2 is okay, but make sure you have someone with a mobile phone that actually is working.
yeah, there's
And
some places
if
with
you don't have a mobile phone, a team, I think we had a policy somewhere, but actually a team of 3 is probably more desirable. That would be, someone gets hurt, one person can run for help, and the other person can stay with the injured party. But if there's a mobile phone involved, 2 is probably enough.
I think I'm probably the only person in the world left who does not have a cell phone. So I will.
People got to take it with them though, and you have to have a signal. Most places now have pretty good signals. But anyway, my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good reminder. So we can just make sure that if you do go out, you have the necessary, you know, safety precautions regarding being spotted and having access to a cell phone. So, you know, there isn't really much on the agenda, just because we haven't really, you know, been moving forward too much of late. I think just scheduling work dates is probably the most important thing for us to do right now. And with the Schoolhouse 9 property, you know, that sounds like SVT has created the trails, and Mike has put in for permits for the kiosks. So once, I don't know, who's going to be installing the kiosks, Mike? Is that SVT's thing, or are we?
I think, you know, haven't confirmed with Dan, but I believe SVT will be installing, but that certainly could use some help.
Because we have the one at Kiwanis Beach, right? Or is that still there?
Has
that been moved?
That one is in at SVT's wall block, and it's been rehabbed, so it's ready to put in the ground. but that's going to be a very heavy thing. So they could probably
Mhm.
use about 4 people to struggle with that.
And are we putting like a mini kiosk at the other trailhead?
Right now, the proposal is, that's a good question, but right now the proposal is a street sign at both Mechanic Street and Fowler. You know, a small kiosk could probably come later. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, well, if a scout comes our way with a desire for a project, I think we have materials at least for one big one and possibly a big one and a small one. So just keep that in mind. Now, Mike, did you have anything screaming at you that we need to tackle?
I think. I don't think so. I think, well, we probably talked a bit about the annual report, but
Oh, right.
other than
I
that,
totally put that out of my head. Who gets to write that? Should we just look at last year's and update and send it around for comment?
sure, I can take a first crack at it, but people need to hack away at it.
Um,
I am looking for hours, volunteer hours. It doesn't have to be a list, more just total hours would be
when
fine.
was the last time I sent you hours? Because it's been a while, hasn't
I'll have to look, and I do have an Excel spreadsheet with hours, but I know a ton are missing. So
I'm forgetting that the annual report goes by fiscal year, so I would have sent.
it goes by calendar year.
Oh, I thought they. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Well,
about that.
yeah.
It goes by
Okay. I thought
calendar year.
maybe the last time I would have sent you anything would have been through the end of June. But I will try to put together whenever I can piece together for my calendar. And if I have work dates on there that included other people, I would just ask that whoever, if you see your name, not to duplicate the hours. So, if you see your name on a particular date, and you know you were there and I've mentioned it, then you don't have to let Mike know about that. So, I think I've been at most of the work dates. I know that Scott, you've done a lot of stuff on your own, so you've been keeping a tally of your stuff.
Yep, I will send that off to Mike.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else for the annual report besides updating the hours? Do we need to? I mean, we can update what projects we've done. We haven't done a great deal this past year. We've the SVT has done the major part of the trail work, and then NEMBA did at the new section of trail over at Warren Brook. So that might be worth mentioning, and that there's a trail that NEMBA is working on also at Warren Brook that is pending. We've kind of looked at the site. Scott and I looked at the site with Toby, and it looked like it would work out. So Toby was going to flag it and let us take a look at it and just do our approve or make suggestions.
Yeah, along those lines, Marcella, I did flag a potential new trail at Warren Brook. Basically, it goes along the town line with the Grafton Pell Farm. So it takes off where that western seed tree opening is. It skirts along the upper edge of that and then goes through the woods, and it comes out at a junction of two trails that are on the Warren Brook property. I did flag that about a month and a half or so ago. So if anybody wants to go out there and take a look at that, I didn't cut any vegetation or anything like that. There's a couple blowdowns that would have to get removed within that area, but it doesn't go through any wet areas, and it looks like a pretty nice trail that would avoid the wet trails associated with Pell Farm that we currently have to go to access that part of Warren Brook. So
Yeah, wonderful. What color are your flags?
I believe they're orange, just orange flags. They're probably every, I don't know, 40 or 50 feet. So if you get to that seed tree clearing, you'll see off that main Skidden Road, it goes off to the left, sort of like at the top of the rise, and then it kind of skirts along the edge of the property there. So.
Okay. Is that near where that party spot, which is actually in Grafton? That
No, it's not real close to that. No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. I just don't want to run into any shady characters up there. I don't know if it's still being used, but just want to make sure we certainly, well, we couldn't take it into Grafton anyway right now, but it's pretty close to the Upton boundary. So, all right, I will take a look, and next time Bill and I are out walking, that would be an excuse to wander around Warren Brook. So we can take a look. And anybody else who wants to is welcome to, and give feedback to Scott. Then maybe next month we can talk about cutting the trail.
Yeah.
And developing that trail.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else that anyone want to bring up? And we're still looking to have a chairperson. Jack, you're welcome to do so. I've been doing it. Well, it's like 15 years or something. It was time. So it's not like it's a horrible job or anything. It's just, it was time. So if you are interested, I'd be happy to fill you in on what is, what is needed there. But
Sure. Yeah, I'll obviously find out more about what's going on here with the. Maybe I'll come out and meet you guys on the 15th if that's okay, and
oh yeah,
just poke
absolutely.
around and introduce myself a little bit. But yeah, figure I can check out the forum you guys mentioned, and I'll let you guys know.
Great.
Yeah, it's very simple, Jack. So yeah, don't be intimidated by it. It's a quick
Yeah.
little form.
Cool.
And Mary, I take it there's no community garden use. Is that correct? Or,
Right. And I sent the final email out, and a bunch of people want to sign up again for the spring. So that's good. And Bill, I imagine the water's off by now, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I confirmed that it was off.
have we received a final bill or bill for the season?
I dropped that off right after we put them out. So I
Okay.
put it in the Concom mailbox at the beginning of October.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
beginning
we
November,
did.
excuse me.
I don't think we voted to pay it yet. did we?
Well, we voted in Concom, so it was
Okay.
one of those. And I don't know if we need to vote on it here too. I don't know actually the proper protocol.
I'm not sure it matters much. I think Concom is sort of the overseeing body, so I think that is fine. So,
But we do have to. In that community garden account got very low. I think the $10 fee is not covering. Well, it's only barely covering the water bills. So
okay.
I think we may have to raise it to 15 or 20 or something to think about.
Actually, it occurred to me that the rate we had set the account up was probably can be changed so that the water bill will end up being somewhat less than it has been in the past. Since all the water was being used outdoors, I set it up under the outdoor water use rates, which treats all of the gallons of water used at the very highest usage rate. But there's no reason why you shouldn't be on the standard rates, which I could figure it out, but it would certainly save some money.
Yeah, that would be good.
But would you suggest? Yeah, I don't have a problem taking it up to $20. I don't know if anybody else does, but do you think the gardeners, is that like too radical? We've sort of been doing it, and we haven't really raised the rate, and when we did, it was by $5, and another $5 seems reasonable, but I don't think $20 is unreasonable, and especially since people have got water on site now, I think that
I think it's $20 I think it's still a low fee, actually.
Yeah.
In some ways, if you charge more, then people value it more. Not that I'm suggesting a high fee, because we do have people who are a low income or whatever, but
yeah. Well, why don't I would just make a motion that we raise the community garden fee to $20, and if there is somebody with a financial hardship, that we could waive, or we could bring the cost down to the current cost.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I don't know if anybody wants to second that, but have at it.
Second.
Okay. So all in favor, Marcella, aye.
Eric, I.
Scott, aye.
Mike, aye.
Mary, I.
So I can't think of anything else we need to discuss urgently. So unless somebody has anything else to add, I would just entertain a motion to have somebody help chair the meeting next time. Well, hang on, before I make the motion to close, maybe we could distribute some of the jobs until we do have a real chairperson. But
Well,
like,
we
could
do have
somebody?
that. We do have the list, Marcella, that I developed about 3 months ago
Yes.
with responsible parties
Well, I'm
for
just
different tasks.
thinking more like in terms of running the meeting. So like, could someone post the agenda? Could someone else chair
Yeah,
run the meeting?
I was going to go there too. A couple months ago, I think you and I were supposed to come up with job descriptions for, basically for co-chairs. One who would be responsible for like more like operations stuff in the field, and the other would be for, running the meeting, agendas, that kind of stuff. Remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, I was thinking about today. Why don't we try to do that for the next meeting? You and I. You don't have to be elaborate, but just unless we have someone who wants to be chair, and we can bag that.
Nobody's jumping at that. But yeah, why don't we do that and bounce something back and forth via email and see if we can come up with some job design. I mean, I don't think it's I don't think anyone's unfamiliar with what needs to be done. It's just a matter of having people take the lead on some of these things. So, as far as preparing the agenda and running a meeting, that would be, that's kind of a real core piece of being the chair. And it's not like it's brain surgery. I just did it. So clearly it's possible. And I really, 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 really want to step away from it. Really. So,
You deserve a break.
Yeah.
but just doing that part, preparing the agenda and running the meeting would be huge. So I, don't know if that's something somebody wants to take on. And then we have, of course, the, people taking the lead on work dates and managing particular properties and that kind of stuff that we did discuss before. That's, yeah, that will always be there. I'm not going to put y'all in a position to, jump up and volunteer to do that, but I do want you to know that I won't be doing it next month. just won't be. I'm going to go on strike. So, yeah, it'll have to happen one way or another. So if we don't have anything more to add to the conversation, I would entertain the motion to adjourn. And I would, in addition to entertaining the motion to adjourn, I would entertain a second.
Actually, before you do that, I was
Right.
checking my email and I see that the Division of Conservation Services announced the grantees, which include 2 Metacomet Land Trust program projects, including the Forest Heights project.
Really?
So Metacomet was awarded the money for the Forest Heights, the grant for the Forest Heights project, and also for a project they're doing in
Rentham.
So good news, more land.
So what's the Forest Heights? Is that for buying the property, or what's that for, Mike?
The project, well, I'll let Mike tell you because, of course, he's a board member.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, it's to purchase a conservation restriction on the property. The town would continue to own it. That's the proposal anyway. Bill and I went before the selectmen a couple months ago, and they seemed amenable to it. So Metacomet put in the grant application, and we got it. It would be, the property would be managed as a forest reserve, which basically means no harvesting, just let it go in terms of becoming old growth and carbon storage. And we hope to finish the project late next year or early in 26. We will have to do some fundraising. The grant is 50%, 50% match, and we already have some pledges for a substantial amount of the match, but we're going to need some additional funding.
But what's the ballpark figure? What you need to raise for 50%?
Well, we don't know right now, but for because we need to do the appraisal. But this was a little unusual. This grant application had a very short suspense, and for once they didn't require an appraisal. But what we said was our assumption was 800,000 was going to be the appraised value of the property, hopefully less than that, and then the residual value of the property after the CR is placed would be about 4,000 per acre, or around 400,000. So the project is about $400,000, and the grant is paying. I think the actual numbers, the grant's 220. So we need to raise somewhere around 220, to match the grant.
Do we have what are other sources besides private money are we going to tap into?
Well, we haven't really talked about that too much yet, but I think the Mass Audubon Catalyst Fund might be a good place to go. And Lisa Wazinski, who's the president of the Land Trust, has contacts with Mass Audubon. We actually used the Catalyst Fund to help us with the Maple Farm CR just recently.
So Mike, is it for just like the rear portion of the property, or
all the
whole thing? Okay.
107 acres. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And we're also working on another project, which if we're successful would add about 65 acres directly abutting it to the west. So, and then that actually ends up adding, if we're successful with both of them, about 175, about 175 roughly acres, which all eventually is connected to, which is connected through the Bonner Natural Area and Whitney and the Warrenbrook Water. They're all connected to that. All those properties would be connected. So you're talking about 200, 300, almost 500-600 acres of abutting open space. Pretty spectacular.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you for instigating these projects. You know, you and Mike have been really very active in making these things happen. So it is appreciated, both of you. And Jack, did I see the future of outdoor trail use?
Yep, that's my daughter. She just got home, so.
And what kind of dog do you have? I couldn't quite.
Oh yeah, that's an Australian Shepherd that you saw.
Okay.
She has a tail though. I don't know. That's a little odd, I guess.
Well, you get brownie points for having a dog and raising someone to appreciate trails. So that's.
Oh yeah, we have a chocolate lab as well. But
Oh, cool.
she's a little lazier these days. She's almost 11, so she's probably sitting around somewhere cozy right now.
Of course. Well, they need to do that too. So, all right. Now, can we vote to adjourn the meeting, or is there something we should be paying attention to that I'm missing?
Make a motion to adjourn.
The second.
So all in favor, Marcella, aye.
Scott, aye.
Eric, aye.
So that looked like an affirmative from Mike. So anyway, I will look forward to seeing you all on the 15th. And I'll make sure, Jack, you get a reminder about that work date along with everybody else. And feel free to bring, friends, children, dogs.
Sounds good. Yeah, maybe she'll come along too. She's really into the trail, so.
Oh, excellent.
It's great meeting you all today. Thank you.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. We're delighted
welcome.
to have someone, join the group. We needed some fresh faces here, so that's great. All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.
Have a good
See
night.
you later.